always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah.
Kids
Wait,
in
is
these
my
schools
mic working?
should-
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
Schools. Why do you think parents pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people? Because they know that if they go to the black school, it's gonna be the Bloods and the Crips. It's gonna be gangs.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Fuentes went on Piers Morgan's show and he finally released this episode, and man, it was heated. Now, obviously can't react to the whole thing, and it's got to be a lot of cuts because, you know, Piers Morgan's videos get copyright claims like that. However, I do want to react to a portion of this, and if you are an overly sensitive black person, oh man, this ain't the video for you, because Fuentes has no filter. He does not know how to hold back. Even on someone else's show, Piers Morgan took the approach of being the white savior, and Fuentes is supposed to be the evil villain, the super villain with the curly mustache. So Piers Morgan is the great white hope on this episode, apparently. Let's go ahead and react to this. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple. That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah. Yes.
But all of them?
No, for the most part. Whatever the percentages of the murderers, I think it's 1 in 20 black men will commit a murder in their lifetime. So maybe let's say that 5%.
Oh, so you're talking about black people who murder people?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But you didn't say that.
That's
You
the
just
crime
said
problem.
blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. You didn't clarify.
I think, so here's the thing that separates me from a lot of other people. Rather than get triggered like, oh, man, this guy wants to imprison black people, I immediately understood exactly what he was talking about. He's referring to the fact that black folks that are black men have a very high percentage of incarceration already, and the ones who aren't incarcerated, or a lot of them are still committing crimes. Now, obviously, as you just heard, only a certain percentage commit like things like murders and stuff. And a lot of people like me don't commit crime. So yeah, not every single black person just send us all to prison, just send us all to the gulag. But obviously everybody knows this, man. Everybody knows this. If you use your brain and you're not like some woke moron, you know that a lot of black men don't have good upbringing. A lot of them are raised by single moms. And they're kind of led with more emotion, because women lead more with emotion. A lot of the men growing up with single moms lead with emotion, and they end up doing stupid stuff in a society where they're a man and they're going to be punished more severely oftentimes than a lot of women. So they end up in jail, or somebody beats the heck out of them or kills them. That's what Fuentes is talking about, but I'll let him speak for himself.
It's totally true.
Do you think a black American would find it funny? You think that blacks should be imprisoned for the most part?
Blacks are my biggest fans. I get high fives all the time. They say, Nick Fuentes, I love your show. They agree with me. And you want to know why? Here's the difference.
While I will agree with Nick Fuentes' next point, I'm not really a fan and I don't really watch his show, but I do think he's kind of funny.
Black people are the most victimized by other black people. You think black people want to live in the hood and the ghetto and get shot all the time? That's what happens in the south side of Chicago.
All the woke morons who make woke statements, all the black folks and white folks, vast majority of them, I'd go as far as say all of them, like the people you see on TV and stuff, like on The View and all that, they live around white people for the most part, or people that are very well off financially, which obviously isn't a whole bunch of black people. So yes, they agree with that. They don't want to live in the hoods and ghettos where they know crimes are going to take place. They just don't want you talking about it as if these people are bad people that need to somehow be punished or incarcerated or anything like that, or looked at as like people that we should not respect in society. But let's face it, anybody who you feel like is primarily criminals, I mean, they're just not going to be respected. The black community on the whole, let's also face it, is not a well-respected community, certainly not for being the top of education, being like the smartest, the most strategic. We're respected for like sports and comedy and stuff like that. Even in politics, they try to browbeat you for thinking for yourself in politics. Like, how dare you do that? You need to go and play basketball or something. That's the type of stuff people tell me.
I'll tell you, black people agree with me because they're tired of it too. And maybe not most of them, but a lot of them agree with what I say about that because they know how it is. That's why the first thing they do when they make a little bit of money is they go and leave to another neighborhood.
Okay, so what was
Just
just remind me again.
People would rather pay a high tax rate. They'd rather pay a much higher property value to live in a less diverse, less black neighborhood because they don't want to live around the violence. And I think that when you look at even on the public transit, the subway, the blue line, people don't want to go there because they know who occupies and menaces the public transit. It is these people like Daniel Penny had to deal. I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry.
Ooh.
It's racial for me.
Let me tell you guys why I don't care when I hear stuff like this. Because the reason a lot of my reactions, because I know some people watching this going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. That's not how I feel. I'm going to tell you why. The vast majority of black people and their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, they all say the same thing. They'll say like, hey, don't bring home no white girl, no snow bunnies, don't do this, that, and the third. Guys, this is how probably a lot of cultures are. I've heard it from other people that are not black too. I know a lot of people, guys. I done been through a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of people, and a lot of people say stuff, and all I'm doing is, instead of just being biased and having cognitive dissonance, I'm acknowledging this is how people talk normally when they don't think people are listening. All Nick Fuentes is doing is coming out and saying what we know to be the truth.
Basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment. You want to talk about racism?
I do.
Let's talk about racism.
Okay,
Let's leave my dad out of it.
Look, you've admitted you're a racist, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Own it.
Okay, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled in a free democratic society.
There you go.
That's
let's keep it a buck. Does it really matter if somebody admits they're racist or not in today's society? It's such a snowflakey society where you could say, I'm not a racist, I'm not a racist. You could give money to black people. You could hire black folks. You could have black friends. Like, a black person could be your best friend. I mean, you could report up to a black person or hire them to lead your whole company. It doesn't matter. Like, you could welcome... You could have mixed black babies. People will still say that you're a racist if in their little pea brain, that's how they feel. So honestly, if he wants to own it, own it. And he doesn't sound like he hates every single black person, because again, he even said that earlier. But in terms of wanting that, like, okay, is there a certain probability that if you associate with black folks or go around, let's say you go into the hood and you just live there, is there a certain probability that you have an increased chance of getting attacked or mugged or robbed or whatever? Yes, there is. If you welcome that into your family, somebody marries into the family, are you inviting some of that possibility into your family's life? Also, yes. So if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. The vast majority of people marry their same race anyway. So just because they don't speak what Fuentes says doesn't mean that they're not still doing it and living that life anyway. Blacks marry blacks usually. Whites marry whites usually. So who cares?
You might get shot. You might get mugged. Someone might run up on you. And I tell my followers, it is better to be perceived as racist or racist and walk the other way and maybe keep your life than to say, I'm a good anti-racist. I don't mind that this person's making me uncomfortable. Maybe he's looking a little froggy. I'm going to sit down because I'm a good person. and get stabbed, mugged, whatever.
Out
So
of
as a white
interest,
person,
how do you feel about mass shootings at school?
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass shootings?
I'm sure
in
it's
schools?
white people.
Right. I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men. And I'm
And
just
what proportion of what proportion?
I'm curious.
What proportion?
I'm curious.
This is always a. I've heard this example before. I'm a little disappointed in Piers for even bringing this up because the likelihood of being involved with, you know, a carjacking or a robbery or something like that is way higher than being involved in a school shooting by white folks. It's a stupid example.
Whether your advice would be to people who have kids in
Wait,
these
is my
schools,
mic working?
what
proportion?
Should they avoid white people at school? Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men at school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more black people proportionally that engage in violent crime or are involved in gangs, especially in these major cities, than there are white people that are school shooters compared to the entire white population. And everybody understands that.
Guys, Nick Fuentes was cooking with Crisco here. It is what it is, my G. Like, I know people don't like the way that he talks. I don't really either. That's one of the reasons I don't really watch him. But in terms of his points regarding like race and race relations in America and how people really think, he's really just keeping it real. And I mean, he's been debanked and all kinds of stuff for his opinions. He's been deplatformed from YouTube. Even posting this video might be a bit of a risk, but it just is what it is. So let me know what you think about what Fuentes said. Obviously, respectfully, of course, but let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching the Black Anomaly. I'm out.
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because you're deliberately avoiding per capita. And everybody knows that's the difference.